Welcome back to another evolution video. My name is Fiber and today we're going through the evolution of Path of Exile. Before we get into the video, let me know down in the comments below if you've ever played Path of Exile and how long you've been playing for. Path of Exile is a free-to-play action RPG developed by Grinding Gear Games. It takes place in a dark fantasy world where the government of the island nation Oriath exiles people to the continent Rayclast, a ruined continent home to many ancient gods. Players take control of one of their exiles and choose one of the 7 classes: Marauder, Duelist, Ranger, Shadow, Witch, Templar and Scion. The whole point of the game is to pretty much fight your way back to Oriath, defeating ancient gods and great evils along the journey. Alright, seems legit. The development of Path of Exile began when a small group of action RPG players were pissed off from the lack of new release in the genre and went on to develop their own game. They pretty much did a Thanos on the whole industry.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
This took place all the way back in around like 2007, like 14 whole years ago, and was completely under the radar. For some reason they didn't want a lot of people, or in fact anyone, to find out about this new game that they're making, meaning there isn't a lot of information or footage of how it looked back then. For 3 years they developed the game, unpaid, by themselves, just for the fun of it. If that isn't dedication, I don't know what is. September 1st, 2010 and Path of Exile was officially announced to the public. This got their community, small but still a community, excited for this game, and since the announcement they have been releasing development posts on their website ranging from screenshots of new classes, monsters and skills to present the game's technical aspects. We're now in the alpha stage of the game, a dev exclusive club that we just couldn't enter. We could only see glimpses from what they post. And that they did in August 2011, which is a closed beta which players had to pay to join. I guess us broke people are still locked out. Great. The closed beta went on for a solid minute and was finished nearly a whole year later. When it did finish, the new open beta would begin, being released on the 23rd of January 2013, which was free to play with microtransactions in-game. But before the game was in open beta, it had garnered a lot of attention during the closed beta and received $2.2 million in crowdsourced contributions. 2.2 million. Holy sh! The game started off as a group of people doing it for their own sake, and they went on to 2.2 million. Man, that glow up is crazy. Of course, since then the devs were updating the game, changing it to the community's liking and just making the overall quality in game really good. The game was patched for release version 1.0, which we all know means that it was finally officially released on the 23rd of October 2013. On this same day, the game was also released to Steam, branching out to a larger quantity of players to play the game. The devs are surprisingly active on the game and continue to release new content and bug fixes on like a monthly basis. In fact, it wasn't long until the first digital expansion of Path of Exile, Sacrifice of the Vaal, V-A-A-L, on the 5th of March 2014. The majority of new content is based around Azitri, Queen of the Vaal. God damn! She's the new late game boss which you'll fight at the end of the expansion. You'll fight the Queen of Vaal on 2 brand new maps, the Apex of Sacrifice and the Alluring Abyss. This expansion also brought around these areas called Vaal side areas. It's a HIV infested area in which you need to fight off the HIV. I'm kidding. It's a corrupted area in which you need to fight off the boss to get rid of the corruption. So yeah, HIV. Jumping over a few months later, the second expansion is released, Forsaken Masters, on the 20th of August 2014. This expansion introduced 7 dudes that offer your player missions, a hideout and crafting options. You come across these guys randomly in the wild. It's kind of weird. After you complete their mission, they follow you back to town and you can invite them over to your hideout anytime. What are you doing, Stepmaster? For although they train you by giving you missions to complete. Once completed, your master level will go up, so then you can eventually follow people home. Yeah, quite a while later, nearly a year later in fact, the third expansion was released, The Awakening, on the 10th of July 2015. This was a pretty big expansion, so big that they even had a closed beta for it. The update was based around the town Highgate, and it included 7 brand new quests and over 20 brand new monsters, like the Nightwane, Void Scream, and Eyepacker, just to name a few. Don't they look great? 4th of March 2016, and we have taken yet another long ass break. Oh my god, this brand new expansion is called Ascendancy. A brand new class was added into the game, the Ascendancy class, giving you access to a brand new skill tree, hence giving you different passive abilities, so on and so forth. This was the first time Path of Exile had introduced the Trials of Ascendancy, or should I say the Lord's Labyrinth. It's pretty much a death chamber. You have to try escape out of it. Yeah, 6 months after this, yet another expansion was released. Atlas of Worlds, released on the 2nd of September 2017. This introduced 30 brand new maps and 19 brand new bosses. What the fuck? Not only that, but it introduced a whole new endgame to Path of Exile. Obviously, throughout these updates, other cosmetic items and graphical adjustments were occurring, improving the overall quality of life in game. 4th of August 2017 and the Fall of Oriath expansion is released. This adds 6 whole new acts and was allegedly the largest expansion released to date. A new character selection screen was added, 8 new Val side areas with bosses, a new passive skill tree system, new gems and unique items, and even the brand new Pantheon system, where players can obtain and interchange buffs from boss gods found in the new continent. So yeah, just a bunch of new content for players to enjoy. It was also around this time that the Path of Exile was made available to console, well, to one of them at least, being released on the Xbox One. 8th of December 2017, and we are now at the end of the year with yet another expansion, War for the Atlas. It's primarily focused on overhauling the Atlas of Worlds endgame system, adding 32 new maps as well as a bunch of other new items. It was pretty much a bug fix update with a few pieces of content here and there. Bruh. A whole year later, the next expansion is released on the 7th of December 2018. This was like the last update, which was just a huge rework to the game system and other content. They did, however, introduce new hideouts, monsters, and a few new maps. Around March 2019, Path of Exile was officially released on the PlayStation 4, increasing the current fanbase, reaching out to as many different platforms as the game can. And the fact that it's free to play is kinda surprising, considering the amount of content and updates that are put in game for free. Another year later, after the last expansion, Path of Exile released Conquerors of the Atlas on 13th of December 2019. This again was pretty much another bug fix update, overhauling the endgame system in Path of Exile. They did, however, introduce 5 new bosses: Cirrus, the Awakener of Worlds, Al-Hezmin, the Hunter, Veritania, the Redeemer, Trox, the Warlord, and Baron, the Crusader. Skipping over to 2021, the Echoes of Atlas expansion is released. This update reworked the endgame in Atlas of Worlds by introducing a brand new passive skill. There are 11 new maps, new skill gem items, and even the Maven's Crucible, which is like an intergalactic themed boss fight that looks so sick. Of course, featuring the main boss, the Maven. Damn, she low-key a baddie. That's pretty much it for the evolution of Path of Exile so far, but there is so much more to look forward to in the future. Back in 2019, the devs actually announced that the Path of Exile 2 would be released in around 2022. I don't know about you guys, but the graphics of the new game look insane. What do you guys think will come to the future of the game? Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're at it, you may as well leave a like and share this video with a friend. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in another evolution video.